Easter, to most people, is a time of joy, reunion, and remembrance of life. But for some, the memories tied to this holiday are not smiles and chocolate eggs. They're cold stares from the shadows, footsteps in the dark, and spirits waiting quietly at the forest's edge. In today's video, I'm going to tell you 3 true stories, all of which happened during Easter. Stories that none of them could ever forget. And maybe, after tonight, you'll never look at Easter eggs or plush bunnies the same way again. This is 3 real Easter horror stories that will haunt you. Story 1. The Bunny's Gift. I remember it clearly. It happened on an Easter Sunday when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My family was deeply religious. Church every Sunday, no exceptions. But Easter was different. It was more solemn, more special. The sermons were twice as long, and the church basement was always decorated with colorful eggs, bunny cutouts, and glittering streamers. After service, my parents took me downstairs to the Sunday school area. The hallway was long and straight classrooms on either side for different age groups. At the far end were 2 restrooms and a heavy gray door that led out to the back parking lot. A door that was always locked from the inside. That day went as usual. The class was full of kids. The teacher wore bunny ears. We were coloring pictures of the empty tomb and the risen Jesus. But the sermon had run long, and I couldn't hold it anymore. I raised my hand and asked to go to the bathroom. The hallway was empty. The flickering fluorescent lights buzzed quietly overhead. As I sat inside the stall, I heard a soft sound, like metal scraping against the next stall's door. At first, I thought it was just another kid being silly. But then, a whisper, soft as breath, broken and slow. The child, chosen. Today. I shivered. But oddly, I wasn't scared. Children don't fear the things adults would. I stepped out to wash my hands, and in the mirror, I saw the stall next to mine slowly creak open. A man in an Easter bunny costume stepped out. The suit was filthy gray fur, matted and tangled. One ear drooped low. One eye was stitched shut with thick black thread. He didn't speak. He just stared at me through the stiff bunny mask. I remember smiling. Kids don't assume the worst. I thought maybe it was a surprise act or church performance. He raised his hand and pointed toward the end of the hallway to the cold gray door that led outside. Then, in a muffled, raspy voice, he said, "You're the chosen one. I have a gift for you. Out there." I followed without hesitation. I pushed the door open. The area behind it was quiet. Only wind and the soft rustle of branches. He walked behind me. No words. No basket of eggs. No smile. We turned the corner into the back parking lot, a place I'd never been before. Parked behind a large dumpster was an old white van. I hadn't seen it that morning. As we approached, the van's side door opened, and from inside a second bunny stepped out. No one spoke. The door creaked wider, and inside I saw a tiny pair of red children's shoes, mud-covered. No movement. I froze. Then from far behind, a woman's scream shattered the silence. Mark. It was Miss Sabrina, my Sunday school teacher. She stood at the corner of the building holding a stack of coloring sheets. The bunny gripped my hand, then let go. He turned and ran without a word. I bolted toward her, tripped once on the concrete. She scooped me up into her arms. I looked back just in time to see the van speed away, as if it had never been there at all. But I swear I saw a little boy's face pressed against the back window. Eyes wide, terrified. The police came. They found nothing. No van. No reports of missing children. They told my parents I was lucky. But I knew. I wasn't the first child they'd chosen. Maybe I was just the first who got away. Story 2. The last game in the woods. I had just graduated high school. This happened during Easter week back in my hometown. My friends and I had a tradition. We'd play a nighttime manhunt with a twist, splitting into teams, hiding plastic eggs, chasing each other through the dark. It was intense, thrilling, and always a little risky. That night, we gathered at Raz's house, a big property on the edge of the woods. His parents were gone. Just us teens looking to make a memory out of the holiday. Raz, Chuck, and I were the hunters. Arthur, Jake, and Race were the ones hiding. We set a 10-minute countdown to give the others a head start, then split up. I headed toward the woods, flashlight in hand, mostly relying on the moonlight through the trees. The air was cold and damp. As I moved deeper, the smell of weeds and something sour grew stronger. That's when I saw it. Under a tree nearby, a crushed green egg, caked in mud, faint claw marks on the plastic. I frowned. We hadn't hidden any eggs there, and no one brought anything that looked like this. Then I saw movement. A shadow crouched behind a tree up ahead, leaning like someone waiting to pounce. I thought it was Race. He liked hiding close, banking on us, overthinking. I crept around, lowered my body, jumped out and slapped him on the shoulder. Got you. He turned around. It wasn't Race. It was a man, mid-30s, hair slicked with sweat, eyes wide and foggy like he was high on something, skin pale, fresh scratches across his cheek, torn clothes, bare arms. He smelled like a smoked corpse. I stepped back, too late. He lunged, tackled me to the ground, hands around my throat, cold and unrelenting. I couldn't breathe. I kicked, thrashed, but he didn't let go. He stared down at me, smiling, enjoying it. Then a flashlight beam hit the tree behind him, a flicker of light, a burst of hope. He froze, released me, and vanished into the trees. Chuck had arrived just in time. He pulled me to my feet. We ran back to Raz's, silent, shaken. The house was tense, until Arthur spoke. He said, before the game had even started, he'd seen 2 other people moving silently through the woods. He thought we were breaking the rules, but we all knew no one had gone in pairs. No one could have been there at that time. No one said anything. Just silence. Heavy, cold silence. I wanted to call the cops, but Raz begged me not to. He said if word got out, his parents would never forgive him. Everyone agreed. So I stayed quiet. But later that night, when I went upstairs early, I looked out the window and saw a figure standing among the trees, back turned, completely still, never moving, never leaving. Story 3. The Torchbearers. Last Easter, my family visited Uncle John, who lived in a remote countryside home surrounded by fields, horse barns, and forest. I didn't know that side of the family too well, except for Kevin, my cousin, 2 years older. He always found a way to drag me out of the crowd and wander off. That afternoon, he asked if I wanted to take a walk into the woods behind the house. I wasn't big on nature, but I was so bored. I said yes. We followed a narrow trail. Twigs snapped underfoot. Bushes rustled beside us. About 20 minutes in, we heard a loud knock, like wood being struck hard. Probably a hunter, Kevin muttered. But he didn't believe it. I could see it in his eyes. We kept walking. Minutes later, Kevin raised his hand, signaling me to stop. He pointed ahead. 3 large trees stood tall, each one nailed with an upside-down cross. The wood was fresh, the nails still wet with sap. Then from the edge of the right side of the forest, a man stepped out. Dark coat, thick beard, emotionless eyes. He stared at me, unblinking. then spoke, his voice low, dry, firm. "You two shouldn't be here." We turned around and walked away. He didn't follow, but his gaze cut straight through me. The next morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. I walked upstairs to Uncle John's study. From the large window overlooking the backyard, I saw 3 figures, standing in a line, each holding a torch. They stood at the edge of the forest, not moving forward, not retreating, just staring at the house. I screamed for Uncle John. He grabbed his shotgun, stormed outside, and fired 3 warning shots. When the smoke cleared, they were gone. No one ever figured out who they were. But I know they came. They left a message, and it won't be the last. Now every Easter, I don't think of eggs or bunnies. I think of flickering torches in the woods and eyes that never blink. Still think Easter is all about candy eggs and plush rabbits. Maybe these 3 stories gave you a glimpse of the other side, the one no one likes to talk about. Just remember, everything you heard tonight was real, told by people who lived through it. And next time you see someone in a bunny costume at a distance, or a flicker of fire deep in the trees, don't get too close. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more true horror stories like this.